so I told Imani no chicken tomorrow. We're going to have something different tomorrow. And then, of course, the dining etiquette on Thursday. We're going to have like sandwiches in the afternoon for lunch. And then for those of you that signed up for the dining etiquette, we're going to have a more luxurious meal a couple of hours later. So, sorry about the chicken. I'm not a chicken eater. So. If you love chicken, then I'm happy for you right now. Nuha was not supposed to do this workshop. Stefan, who was here yesterday hosting, was supposed to do this workshop, but he's doing an internship downtown in Manhattan, so he wasn't able. So Nuha's shy and nervous, but she did serve last year in the New York State Model Senate session alongside our USS Chair, Timothy Hunter, and a number of other students. We have had a long-standing history of sending a nice group of students every year to the New York State Model Senate, and we broke records, I'm happy to say, a couple of times, 3 times. So Nuha is going to talk a little bit about her experience, about what it takes to be a New York State Model Senator, and what it entails, and what she learned from it. Right? Okay, and there you go. Nuha Assad.
Nuha Assadi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nuha Assadi. I served as a senator in 2019. Does anybody know what the Senate is? Okay, so the New York State Senate is the upper house of the New York State legislators. Its members are elected in 2 terms. There are 63 Senate seats where they put laws or make laws. So the process is an idea is put up and it has to go through different legislators to be passed. So what we did was we debated legalization of marijuana, and once you get elected, as students from Hostos, you have to be in the Leadership Academy in order to be a member. You're supposed to be a member first, and then you get elected to go into these positions. So I was elected, and our topic was legalization of marijuana. We had to go to 4 sessions with other CUNY and SUNY students, and we went into a training where they gave us a binder and like this binder, and it has information about the law and our constituents, which are the people that we're serving. So I was the senator for District 51, and we had to think as the senator thought, and then what was legalization of marijuana? A lot of people did not want to legalize it or did not want the bill to pass, but for my constituents, when doing the research, it came that they do want to pass that bill, and so we studied the bill, and we researched about our location and what our constituents want, and then we went to Albany, where we sat in the Senate chambers, and we get to present our bill. I don't have the pictures though, but we had to formulate a speech, and basically it says that our constituents wanted to pass it. So we passed the bill on legalization of marijuana. I don't know, what else you want me?
Okay, she has a lot of energy. So, we were talking yesterday with Sally about city and state government and how you represent. So, the greatest thing about being a New York State Model Senator, whether Newhan knows it or not, which he was one, is you get to make a speech on the New York State Senate floor in Albany, in the chambers. Yes, where the real senators speak. And we have been lucky enough over the course of the years to have students serve in the seats of some of the local representatives who you recognize. Gustavo Rivera, I know some of you guys know who that is. Jose Peralta, who passed away unfortunately, but the New York State Dream Act is named after him, and several others from this local region. The bottom line is, who did you represent? Where is that?
It's in Albany. Upstate, it's upstate.
So some of the students who go actually have to represent districts that are Republican represented. I know most of our folks here in this room are Democrats. If you're a Republican, it's okay. We love you, we embrace you, it's okay, it's all good. But in the Bronx, large portion of us are Democrats. By the way, we vote. The numbers will speak for themselves. But some of our students have to represent Republican districts, right? Long Island, upstate New York, Buffalo, outside of Buffalo, the middle of nowhere, Plattsburgh, right? And they have to, when they speak at the Model Senate, they actually have to talk about the policy with regard to their position in the state, right? Their constituents. They can't just say, okay, I'm for legalization of marijuana, and everybody in their constituency would say, yo, you're fired, get out, we don't want you anymore. So that's one of the hardest things that some of the students have to face when they get up there, but it's a challenge. It's a way of learning how to negotiate and how to deal and how to figure it out. And at the end of the presentations, the speeches that everybody makes, they have a vote. It's decided this year at 1, passing legalization of marijuana, and apparently it's on the way to legalization here in the state as well, if it hasn't already been done. But I didn't vote. I will not pledge my support either way. But what was fascinating this past year, and we have some of them will be here later this week. Some of our students really looked at the entire subject in different ways. So some of them looked at it in terms of the effects on children. Some of them looked at it in terms of criminalization and how this would be a way to erase some of the criminalization of marijuana over the years. Some of them looked at it in terms of how it would affect automobiles and accidents and things of this nature and other things. And so there was a lot of conversation about all that, and the speeches really reflected that. And so if you're thinking about that as a possibility, this spring is when the New York State Model Senate happens. The applications generally come out like right at the end of this session, right? So when we finish this winter workshops, I usually get an email asking me to give out the applications to students and then make nominations. So if you're interested, we'd like you to be a part of the organization, because then we can get you the training that's necessary beforehand to be able to do this and do it well. If you're from another campus, there are representatives on their campuses who handle this, and I can give you their names so that you can reach out to them and ask them for the paperwork as well. They hate me when I do that, but that's fine. I'm more than willing to do that. It's not like they're not supposed to be hiding in their offices. They're supposed to be like serving you guys too. Let's erase that from the class. Anyway, but it's a great experience. It really does put you in a position where you can actually feel like you're making an impact. And what's the best part of it is that there are members of the New York State Senate who are at the conference that weekend who do come in to hear the speeches, especially if you're sitting in their chair. They want to be there. So Gustavo is always there. There's lots of different politicians from all over New York State who drop by to hear the speeches of the students because they want to hear what you guys are going to say. Because the legislation that's being discussed by the students is real. It's something that's already in the line. It's already going to be discussed. So just so that you know. What's that? They may steal the speeches of the students. It's possible. I mean, the UN does that all the time. Right, so there are all these like little student-run organizations that deal with the United Nations issues, and then students present and create videos and things. and then you'll end up hearing some of this stuff at the United Nations all the time. I've seen it a million times happen where they take the ideas of students and they bring it to the floor of the United Nations, especially other countries, especially small countries, where they have students that are doing this on a regular basis. So that's New York State Model Senate. It's coming up. It'll be in March or April of this year in Albany, and the applications will be coming out shortly. And I will share that with those of you that are going to participate with us in the spring, so that you have that and you can know about that. And if you're from another campus, you can ask me who the person is on your campus who handles that, and I can give you their name. And then I'll take the...
And you get a stipend.
You speak?
Yes, I do.
Amazing. Yeah, there's actually a scholarship portion of it. So at the end of the simulation, you're asked to write an essay. We had one winner last year, right?
Yes.
Maria Muhammad. You can write an essay, and you can actually, I think it's like a $500
$500
scholarship for writing an essay about your experiences up in Albany.
Yeah, and students get a stipend when they go.
Okay, and you get money to go, and you stay in a hotel, you're very excited about that.
And you go to a gala.
And you go to the gala, where you eat the same chicken that you're eating right now. But it costs $250. I should erase that from you.
Did you get coming with a dress?
What's that?
Chicken will come in with a dress also?
Yeah, you got to bring your fancy dress, and you get to go.
No, the chicken.
Oh, the chicken? Yeah, it comes with a dress. It actually gets on the dance floor. No, but it's a great experience, so I wanted you to talk about it. Stefan was supposed to talk about it. Adama's here. Adama did it last year, no, 2 years ago, and he spoke about it last year, and he had a lot of fun with it. The chair didn't recognize him when it was his turn to speak, and he said, "Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?" And it's just so to give you an example, yesterday, Uselli did it twice, Saint did it once, and Uneris did it twice, and Michael, who's going to be here on Wednesday, did it once. So you see their oration skills, pretty good for the most part, right? And so they had a start doing it. I mean, Uneris was sat in Gustavo Rivera's seat. Michael had a great time doing it. We love doing it. I love being able to be up there. I try to videotape it every year, so I try to get up on the floor and get that, so that you have a record of your great accomplishments. And it's also a good weekend to, at the gala when you're eating the rubber chicken that costs $250. This is not rubber chicken. This is real crunch chicken. I gotta stop. But when you get to the gala, you actually have the legislators there, and if they haven't imbibed too much, you guys can actually talk to them and share some of your experiences and what you value, and they will listen to you. And national politicians come to that event. So we've had Kristen Gillibrand there, Chuck Schumer has been there, Julian Castro was there 1 year. There's a lot of different national politicians who will come to the event. And so it's an opportunity to meet some of those folks as well. And if you don't know who those folks are, that's okay too. You should. It's all right, it's all right. Any questions about the New York State Model Senate? No? You have to wear a fancy suit. Yes.
Oh, yes. So how can we become a partner?
So there's an application. It comes out, like I said, right around the time that we finish the winter workshops. For those of you that sign up to be a part of our group and stay in touch with us, I will send that out to you guys. And you can fill out the application, get it back to me. There's a deadline for that, and then I submit it on your behalf to the organizers, and they review it, and they will make a selection. And like I said, in the years that I've been here, we've been lucky to basically get whatever we sent. The first year we were here, I was so proud. You know, Kellen was talking about women's issues. We sent 10 women to the Model Center, 10 strong women. Sally was part of that. I was very proud of that experience. And we broke a record that year. The next year, we sent 11 people to New York State Model Center. And the first speech was given in Spanish in a long time. So these are wonderful experiences. And later on, a couple years later, we broke it again. I think it was the year that St. went, where we included a couple of our graduates who were doing it from another campus, and we had 12 people go. Every year, we try to get as many seats as possible. We have to be fair to the other campuses because they want some seats too. But we try to do the best job possible in preparing our students so that we get as many seats as possible. And it's supposed to be 4 seats per campus. And we've only gone beneath 4 twice. So 4 and 3 one year. Every other year we've gone above it. And last year I think we had 7, right? I think they were the magnificent 7. I try to name them every year. There is some GPA requirement. Again, because of the training that you get through us, the folks who run that, I don't want to speak for them, but the folks that run that program understand that you're getting some training from us, and so they're a little bit more flexible with the students that come from Hostos. It's really supposed to be some sort of like a 2.8 GPA at the minimum, but we've actually had some people with below that go, just so that you know. And you know, it's because they have the training, and they weren't going blind. So their trainings depend on them. Generally, they do 4 trainings before the event. They're outside of school hours, just so that you know. It's at the graduate school, and they're going to train you with their regular trainers. And they do one long Saturday, I think the week before you go. It's a whole day thing. But it's just because you need to be prepared to make the speech. You need to really know what the material is in terms of your constituents, in terms of everything. So that's separate from what we do, right? We give you a whole set of other training, but they do that specifically for the event. No, good, I'm good. Yes. You want to say something? All right, give it up for New So now we finished early. We have to wait until our next speaker comes.